Hi everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes, doctor.
Awesome,
Hello.
awesome. Hi Raja, how are you?
I'm good. How are things with you? Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect.
There's a slight echo.
Okay.
Anirudh, if you could check.
Okay. Welcome everyone, and we'll talk. It's first time we are doing this, testing this platform, and coming on board and starting a new series and new era into precision medicine. It is a test trial, and thank you everyone for joining today. And we'll definitely get better and better and more professional along the way. So my team is helping me assist through the whole process. Um, we are the cusp of cutting edge change in medicine, and that change is happening as we are entering the era of precision medicine. There is an end of evidence-based medicine era coming in, which helped us really good in many different ways. We are able to create we're able to create amazing progress in longevity, make amazing progress in healthcare. We are able to create many advancements in oncology, in cardiology, and many different things. But now we do believe that precision health has to move further with the challenges we have faced. Because evidence-based medicine is heavily in favor of pharmaceuticals, and it is heavily in favor of certain randomized trials, which are helpful. But in other cases, we don't truly know, and we truly don't have any conclusive evidence behind it. So those are challenges we have faced, and we definitely. Sorry, is it okay?
Oh,
Can we go live?
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Sorry for the disturbance. Yeah, so I think they were struggling with it. So yeah, so precision health. So we are entering into precision health era, and this is the first talk we're doing it and trying to solve this precise problem today. Let me walk you through the journey and what the healthcare you've been getting so far today from me and by other doctors, and where you should be going in the future. There'll be weekly series. Every week we'll have some new speakers. Some days me, some other clinicians and expertise in this area will be speaking and talking about it. And we'll talk about precision health, but we go into more of future of medicine. In the future of medicine, we always want it to be the perfect future, that we can cure the diseases. We know the disease before it even occurs. We need to know which drugs are there and which drugs could be better for us, which could be harmful for us. So we really wanted to know those things. And that era is here today. It is not future anymore. And it all started by genome, sequencing the whole DNA. And the whole genome contains all the biological information required to build and maintain any given living organism. And it contains your molecular history, and by decoding it was the biggest challenge for humanity, which we were able to do it successfully. The first human genome was isolated in 1975-79 era. DNA sequencing was automated. 1986. In 1990, Human Genome Project officially began, and the first whole genome was sequenced, but it wasn't perfect. And later on, in 2003, we were able to quote-unquote finish the first human genome sequencing, the global Human Genome Project. Afterwards, it wasn't it. So the whole genome again got changed as we learned more information about it. In 2000, just last year, we got resequenced again. New information was accessed. Why? Because there are certain areas we felt there were junk areas of DNA. We deemed to be useless of those areas. And eventually, later on, we understood the long stretch of DNA, and we were able to understand how to sequence it, how to analyze it. So it's still an ongoing challenge. It's like talking about a space. And which stars are there, which stars we know today, and how many more Milky Ways and galaxies we have no idea. We're trying to figure those things out. Exactly, the genomic is in that sphere right now. So over 5 million people have been sequenced, about 8 billion to go. So we need to sequence everyone and every person possible. So initially, the first whole genome costed us $3 billion. Took us 10 years to complete. But now we can do the same test in less than $2,000 and able to get ahead of all the diseases we faced as a challenge for us. We never had an answer before. And the drugs, we never knew how to handle them. So what is the current medicine right now? The current medicine right now is one size fit all medicine. And what we do in medicine, basically we have a patient population and we make a therapy based decision on every randomized control trial and try to lump people together based on what we believe is right. But usually it's never right. Even though we try to be as precise as possible, that fits the randomized control trial pattern of the patient population. But sometimes mistakes do happen and we try to generalize the information. In that way, some patients do get harmed, unfortunately, but the doctors and healthcare system has the best intention there. We have seen in many different ways, vaccination, hypertension drugs, oncology, rheumatology, you name it. Every trials were done based on evidence-based medicine, trying to take information, extrapolate in a population level. It's not true, as we understand that everyone is different, everyone is unique. The small individual, one mutation and one variation, because 99% 9, we all are same. We have a tiny bit of a variation which separates us from each other. And what we need to provide is a precision health approach, multi-omics approach. What does that mean is we need to be able to sequence the DNA. It's like your foundation of your home. If your foundation is strong, you know how the house is built and where the weak points are. So when the house is built, you moved in, you are able to now tailor-made maintenance needs for that house. You know that there could be a leaky window, there could be a sewage system not done right way by the builder. So whatever happened has happened now, but you love the house, you want to live in that house. So you at least have the information. Now you can work with it, make sure the house can last long enough so you can enjoy it. Exactly the same way. You have to first down your DNA, that's your foundation, it has all the key. It helps you understand 3 questions. Why you have that problem, when you should intervene, and what is next in the future for you. And those kind of things, if you look into inside, you have to deep dive look into your genome. But genome can only do so many things. You also need to know transcriptomics, the messaging that is going to various cells from the genome, and that is maybe causing the disease. And epigenetics, the growing area of science, is helping us move forward by evaluating how old we are. And if we can reverse the part of aging, and if there are epigenetic markers, if we can't change the DNA, perhaps we can change the epigenetic pattern, and the disease perhaps could be reversed or controlled, better managed that way. So this is called multi-omic approach. But what happens today is the day in life in medicine is in cardiology. You come, you see a cardiologist, and we do ultrasound, we do stress tests, we gather some data sets from you from the history and come to some conclusions, some gut feelings, some science, some experience, and come to conclusion to decide what's best for you. Sometimes we are wrong, and often we are wrong. And for example, the exercise stress test, the treadmill stress test, many of you probably have got through it, some of our offices, is only 70% accurate. So at a 70% accurate test, a little better than flipping a coin, I'm calling it, you may have a heart disease, you may not have a heart disease. I'm calling you low risk based on a 70% accuracy of the test. I can give you nuclear imaging stress test, that will be 85% accuracy, still never 100% accuracy. You can do CT angiogram, that'll give you anatomical information but doesn't know the functional information. So it's a conundrum is there. So what you need is, you need a precision health approach involving everything. You need an imaging, you need EMR data, you need microbiome data, you need lifestyle social data, you need your family data, you need variables, genomics, everything combined as a one tool where you truly can help you provide precision health approach. If person could be saying, I'm going to provide you precision health medicine or healthcare, just using imaging and not using epigenomics or microbiomics or metabolomics, they are not practicing precision health. They're practicing evidence-based medicine. But if they are looking to provide precision health-based approach, they have to start from genomics. and then built on with imaging, the clinical tools we have from the experience, and help you better provide better healthcare services. And there's a misnomer, miscommunication, many different ways happen within healthcare system. Many doctors confuse genetics versus genomics, and many people also confuse that way. Genetic is essentially talking about a one gene or maybe a couple of genes or the set of genes and how the inheritance happens. Genomic is analyzing the whole genome, 23,000 genes, someone is born with it. It's like evaluating the whole team and to make sure how the whole team is successful in winning the Stanley Cup. If they're going to play a hockey game, or if they're going to play cricket and win the cricket World Cup or a soccer World Cup. But you can't, genetic is like looking after Messi only and making sure Messi is successful. Messi is playing good, team will win. Messi is not the team will lose. So as we have seen in Miami lately, so that's genetics. But we want to make sure that whole team wins. So that's genomics, and see which are the weak points, which are the good points, and strengthen the good points and help the weaker points a bit, and play this role of the game to make you a better, much more healthier person. In cardiology, I'll give you simple examples how precision health is coming into everyday practices these days. Now it's up to doctors how they want to apply to the patient population, and also up to the patients truly want to be healthcare delivered the old way, or they want us to deliver healthcare the new way. The old way is you'll come and see a cardiologist, we'll do an echocardiogram, maybe CT angiogram, MRI, nuclear imaging, do some biochemistry, some basic biomarkers for the cholesterol, maybe ApoB levels, but that's about it. We truly don't know your genetic makeup. We truly have no information which drugs are good or bad for you. I don't even know if you're going to respond to aspirin. You may have an aspirin non-responder, maybe carrying the risk of bleeding without even driving any benefit for baby aspirin every day. Despite the guidelines and the best practices are recommending it for you to take it. And we know that many people are non-responders. So that's where the complexity comes in. And it comes in versus monogenic versus polygenic disorders. So monogenic disorders usually are like a sickle cell anemia. They're traceable in the families. Cystic fibrosis, traceable in the families. Polygenic disorder is like a heart disease. So it has multiple genes working together that may be contributing into developing a disease, and perhaps 1 or 2 or 10 of them will not have any impact, but combined together as a polygenic risk way, we can predict now. We have various tools we have developed using a UK biobank and got validated in many different biobanks similar way. So it's very personalized. We truly can tell who might be at risk for developing a cardiac event, who have a heart disease, versus just giving a blanket treatment strategy to everyone. It's possible, it's doable today. Traditional risk factors we measure in healthcare systems are body mass index, LDL cholesterol, diabetes, high blood pressure, perhaps smoking history, physical activity. Those are traditional things when we never knew the genomics. So once you have polygenic risk score or other genomic details, which provide us better insights. And again, it's another tool. We have to bring it together along with existing information and see how we can better provide you better healthcare. Some way in cardiology, there is a way to define heart failure these days called cardiomyopathy. Many years ago, we've been calling them idiopathic cardiomyopathy patients. We had no idea. Doctor was an idiot and patient probably pathetic. That's why they call idiopathic maybe. I don't know, but definitely we never knew an answer. Genomics started to provide us those answers. Why some people after COVID vaccination develop myocarditis? Why not everyone? Why some people develop blood clotting from COVID vaccination? Why not everyone? Because they had a genetic predisposition to develop cardiomyopathy or blood clotting. Same way, some people develop variations of heart failure. And those are certain genes have been linked to contribute into various conditions people could develop. And as we have noted from a simple example of a dilated cardiomyopathy, people who have a bigger heart is not pumping as well, but it's dilated. As we have noted, there are certain genes, bold tags there, they are highly implicated, strongly implicated to cause the disease. If someone may have those genes, doesn't mean they will get the disease, but someone who has the disease already developed, they have been linked to these genes. So now we have to be aware, maybe you have to differentiate who is at high risk for death from those heart failure. Perhaps decide defibrillator, perhaps decide cutting edge therapies for them, tailor-made recommendations for them. So now we can, instead of giving a one glove fit all approach, we can give a person more personalized approach and avoid some of the side effects. Last year, European Society of Cardiology came up with a strong recommendation that genetic testing should be considered in people with dilated cardiomyopathy, bigger heart failure patient population, big heart, not pumping as well, or people have other type of heart failures. And it's a strong recommendation. As more and more data coming in, I'm hopeful Canada will follow suit. I'm hopeful America will also follow suit. But Europeans are always has been ahead than what we do in Canada. So I'm hopeful one day we're going to replicate the same guidelines, perhaps better guidelines for people for cardiology perspective, but also general population perspective, all the ailments we are facing right now. For example, genomics can also help us differentiate prognosis and management. And if someone may have a certain gene mutation, say LAMP2, in a patient with a certain cardiomyopathy, they may be at risk of rapid deterioration and perhaps should be considered early heart transplant. If we don't know genomics, if we don't use precision medicine, that person may die without even knowing, and doctor without even knowing, and believing they tried their best, and just don't know there was another tool available, they didn't access it, they didn't deploy it. So that's what genomic and precision medicine is offering and is changing our practices globally right now. This an approach has been debated for many years. Many companies offer targeted panel testing. People get looking for cheap tests. They go to they send the samples to some companies. And what the study was done and published last year, they evaluated comprehensive versus targeted panel approaches. They noted that if you're going to go with a comprehensive approach instead of targeted approach, your yield catching the positive patients is higher. You'll be able to catch more patients at risk of developing cardiomyopathy, arrhythmia that could potentially be deadly for the person. So by doing cascade testing, your positive results are 42% higher probability just going the targeted, hey, I only want 2 peppers and 3 bread and 2 bananas. Instead of going, look, I want the whole comprehensive you have in your store, everything in a meal plan, and let me pick and choose. Perhaps I know which food I like, which I don't like. So that's a differentiating how to explain simple way. So comprehensive, much better approach. So you know more about which food you like, same way which genes you may be impacting your health. In pharmacogenomics, the 3 examples I'll share with you guys how it's changing our practices. For example, if someone has a breast cancer or certain kind of oncology challenge in their life, depending on the gene mutation in their family, if they're given a chemotherapy of a higher dose, they could develop a heart failure. And we see that in patient population after breast cancer. So if someone would have got a genetic test done to make sure they don't have this mutation, or if they have it, and a doctor could reduce the dose, they could still drive the benefit for the cancer curing, but not take a risk for carrying heart failure, which perhaps could kill them. Yes, could save them from cancer, but potentially could kill them from heart disease. Same thing, we can change dosing with the warfarin. With Asian population, they are require a little bit higher dosing. Chemotherapy-induced cardiomyopathies could go down if we use a genomic-based treatment strategies in cancer patient population. If you look at statin, the favorite topic people have is statins the right statin for me? And we prescribe statin very liberally. It is a cheap way of reducing someone's heart disease risk and heart attack risk. But it is not the only way. And many people cannot tolerate that because of genetic mutations they have. Some Asians sometimes cannot tolerate high-dose statins versus Europeans. But everyone gets a high-dose statin sent home. Many people don't want to take them later on because of various side effects they get it there. So there's a variation. We can tell today which statin is the right statin for you genomically, and what dose you could be taking that could be more effective for you without carrying the extra risk. Again, it's possible, but we need to have a genetic sequencing done to be able to provide this recommendation and personalized care for you. Otherwise, you'll have to go through hit and trial approach and maybe try a simvastatin or atorvastatin or rosuvastatin or a Zetrol combined together, maybe 3rd or 4th different drug, You may respond, not may respond, but in the meantime, you may get a heart attack and still don't know why you got the heart attack despite you were taking the medication, not knowing medication probably was not right for you at that time. So there is an option now. It's a choice we all of us has to decide when we take the medication approach. Another sign I'll share with you guys is hypertension, common problem, high blood pressure. It's a big diagram, big cascade in front of you. You can see that. We have various different kind of medications, diuretics to calcium channel blockers, to beta blockers, to alpha blockers, to ACE inhibitors, to ARBs. They all interact and cross-react somehow, and we deal with those challenges in the community, sometimes with the side effects such as low sodium, or edema, or a dry cough, or kidney problem, and many other challenges people go through that, or rashes. But if we know which is the right drug, someone has done the pharmacogenomic analysis, then we can avoid those potential side effects, perhaps improve better compliance. So this is how the personal medicine can change, just simple as high blood pressure drugs people take it. We can literally tailor-make the recommendation without going to hit and trial approaches. So there are a few panels. BioAro as a company we have developed, for example, hyperlipidemia panels. So we know that every sixth person on this call has a lipo mutation, and lipo mutation put you at high risk for developing coronary disease, irrespective of you're on a statin or not on statins. Why? Because statins don't impact lipo levels. And if you have never been measured lipo levels, if doctor is not measuring lipo levels, then you are just going blindly. Go ask your family doctor, I want to know my lipo levels. Are they high or low? And if you have that mutation, then statin may not be the right drug for you. Maybe you should go to PCK9 inhibitor medications. There are better approaches out there in the market right now, been approved. They're developed based on genomics. Those panels are available also if you truly want to know targeted approach. And there are some other disease-based panels the company has developed for heart failure population to see why you have heart failure, or why truly you got ischemic heart disease, and what is the risk for sudden death of a person. Not just looking at ECG, but truly we can tell which are the high-risk genes have been contributed historically increased of sudden cardiac death. Amyloidosis or hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which is the heart muscle is bigger. As you might have heard, some players playing soccer or basketball collapse on the field and they die. Most likely they have a hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. If you can get every kid screened and make sure they don't have this gene, perhaps we can make sports much more safer for everyone to play at a global level. So yes, medicine is changing, and it is becoming more personalized, and it is all those things play a role. You can ask a cardiologist to order a CT scan for you just to know how much blockage do you have. Means nothing. It's just a one data set. You also need to know biomarkers, your environmental, your lifestyle, what is going to play a role, and what your genetic predispositions are. When you combine it together, now you have individualized risk prediction that's just made for you. Now we know much more ways to help you, make you much healthier, versus just one approach or other one data sets. It is not having enough information. So that's the future. It is here and we have it in front of us. It's up to us want to use it or don't want to use it. So as a company, we do provide whole genome sequencing, the whole DNA analysis, exome sequencing, microbiome sequencing of various kinds, and they do help us provide insights. And in the future, you'll be learning more about of those entities, and we'll be deep diving into a gut microbiome based webinars, vaginal microbiome based, skin microbiome, oral microbiome, some of the oncology based panels, pharmacogenomic based discussion we'll be having in a deep dive. But I want to give you guys a little bit of overview today and show you what potential we have using genomics and precision health, how it can help us improve our outcomes at a population level. And why BioAro? Well, BioAro, everything is high quality sequencing, data storage and security is there. BioAro never sells the data to anyone, and doesn't matter what happens. Is a promise of BioAro, me as a cardiologist, to all my patients too, that your data will never be sold to anyone, and there's a trust. BioAro will always maintain that. And they're very unique programs. Many companies don't have, and they don't offer them. And all the testing is done locally in Calgary. Thank you. And if any questions, any concerns, do contact us, and we are just a phone call away.